I think a key point to note is that so far the US has lagged behind other jurisdictions in terms of the advancement of legal and regulatory frameworks around crypto assets and the crypto industry. And that has somewhat held the industry back, held back the pace of innovation. And there is not necessarily a need for Trump or the Trump administration to pull off some very aggressive deregulation for there to be material impacts for the crypto industry in the US. We see there being several very low-hanging fruits that could be very impactful for the industry, for the adoption of Bitcoin as an asset, and for blockchain technology more broadly in financial markets.
Andrew, let's break this down then. These low-hanging fruit that you talk about, would they include things like stablecoin, crypto asset custody, and also the categorization of crypto assets?
Exactly. So one of the challenges, particularly that crypto businesses have faced, has been the lack of clarity around which assets are classified as securities in the US, which can be treated as commodities, and what requirements that then places on crypto businesses. In some cases, businesses have fought enforcement actions from regulators. In others, perhaps businesses have not expanded in the US as they may have chosen to otherwise. On the more kind of institutional adoption front, I think we've seen in 2024 the impact that ETFs have had on Bitcoin. Ether ETFs were approved also, haven't seen as much of an uptick, but there has been some impact there. But having clarity around the use of stablecoins, mitigation of risks associated with stablecoin issuers, having clarity around the ability to participate for a bank, for example, in providing custody for crypto assets. These are things that can really help the adoption of the technology and of the assets associated with it to scale in financial markets.
Andrew, I got to ask you, right, and this is something that came up during while Trump was campaigning, the idea of a U.S. BTC strategic reserve. How realistic can it come to pass?
It's very difficult to say now how likely it is to happen in the short term. What's very interesting is that we've really seen now a shift in the narrative around the asset class. So this idea of Bitcoin as a hedge against currency debasement is something that started out in the fringes of the crypto community, that then has moved in 2024 really into the institutional investor context through the adoption of ETFs. And now we're seeing that in policy circles. So we're seeing it with this discussion around a potential national reserve in the US. We've seen other national central banks exploring the topic as well, and we're seeing several US states looking to establish similar reserves. The idea being that in scenarios where the dollar or other fiat currencies debase over time, that Bitcoin may provide a hedge against that risk and could therefore play a role in an investment portfolio.